guest. If it's the host, can you just say, should we have some audience participation to wake you up a bit? Cheers. Can you say cheers? Can we practice that? Cheers?
Cheers.
All right, not bad. Well, better, but fine. Yeah, and if it's the guest, could you go, oh, just a drop? How about that? Ooh, just a drop. So if you think it's the guest who goes to the house, ooh, just a drop. Have you got that? Yeah, and otherwise it's cheers. Okay, so here we go. Hi, I hope we're not too early. Yes, I think that'd be odd if it was the host, wouldn't it? I hope we're not too early. For what? Yes, exactly. Not at all. Come on in. Yes, you see, this is it. Let me take your things. Yeah, because that wouldn't be the visitor, would it? No, I mean, unless it was a burglar, maybe. Sorry, let me take your things. Or maybe one of those parties, you know, apparently. I don't know. I don't know what they get up to on Mallorca, but I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of that going on. Anyway, how about this one? Oh, I brought you this. Because that's the visitor, isn't it? I brought you this. Because you're going to bring a present, haven't you? You can't go empty-handed to somebody's house for a meal. Well, not my house, anyway. You'll be sent away if you don't bring anything. Oh, you shouldn't have. That's a tricky one to teach, though, because it could be misread. Did that to a Japanese person I knew once. A very nice lady came to my house and I went, oh, you shouldn't have. And she went, I shouldn't have. I'm so sorry. I will destroy the present. And I was like, no, God. So, you know, you have to be careful with some of these. Now, what can I get you? What have you got? Always good to do that, really, because, you know, you might ask for something they haven't got. What a lovely apartment. Because you've got to pay compliments, haven't you? A bit, I think, however it looks. Purple curtains with the yellow carpet and the maroon walls. But here it works. It's fantastic. So you've got to have a bit of that. Are these your children? You do that, don't you? If you go to somebody's house and they haven't gone to bed yet, you know, oh, hello, are these your children? Yeah. No, we abducted them. But they like it here, so... If it was the, could be the host, of course. Are these your children? God, what the hell have you brought your kids for? How many have you got? 7, 8? Oh. It's the last time we invite the Fond Traps. A little more wine? Yes, I mean, well, it could be the guest. You know, why not? Never be afraid to ask. But generally, try some of this. Again, it's the host, isn't it? You know, try some of this. Because you've got to be politeness language. All of these fit, very fit. That wouldn't be the guest unless they brought something with them. You know. Try some of this. It's good stuff. Cut that bit from the film. Because I've got clients and things, I can't... this is absolutely delicious. Oh, just a drop. Could I use your loo? Which actually means where is it, doesn't it? Because you're not expecting a yes-no answer there. There was something I wanted to talk to you about. Yeah, because this could be either, but it's definitely when you're getting down to business. But unfortunately, once you get down to business, that's when you go a bit off the map. That's when the fixed expressions start dying out. It's not as predictable. When the scenario is predictable, here are a couple of others, we should be making a move soon. That'll do. You don't have to rush off just yet, do you? But please say yes. And there's that, isn't there? But this is predictable for the very reason that it's a fixed scenario. And, I mean, incidentally, if you want to do work on this kind of thing, it's quite nice to have one of these scenario boxes. This is a timeline from the beginning of the evening to the end of the evening. But it could have been the beginning of a trade exhibition to the end of a trade exhibition, you know, going around the stands. Could have been visiting somebody picking somebody up from the airport and getting them to their hotel. And they decide when was it said and who said it. So it's kind of mapping the language. That's better than a list. That's better than a mind map. That's better than a phrase bank. It's starting, I mean, have these on little post-its if you want, meta plan, actually get them to sketch out on a wall a whole conversation, go through it in their minds and rehearse it and then do it. But the problem starts when you get to the meeting, and there goes post-its. Took ages, that did. And there we are in a meeting, people going, well. And it's like, where is my phrase bank of useful expression? Where is it? And now this is where fixed expressions are much less useful, because it's not so predictable. These are some fixed expressions from course books which I have garnered. It's an interesting word, isn't it? You don't hear that often. Garnered. I've garnered these from different course books at different levels, and here some of them are. Some are weird, but some are very normal that you've seen before. In my opinion, yeah, could I just come in here for interruption? Okay, sorry to butt in, but I don't like that one for B1. I don't like it at all, actually. What is that? A goat metaphor? Sorry to butt in, it's hard to say as well. Sorry to butt in, but sounds like, you need a bit more polygrip or something there. I beg to differ. I promise you that's from a course book. C1 level. I beg to differ. Now that's mean teaching that. That shouldn't be allowed. There should be rules. We should have a police force to stop that. Let's leave that aside for the moment. Okay, that one sounds normal. Hold on, we need to look at this in more detail. I'm happy with that, but wait a minute. It's not quite so simple as it seems. Let's put our cards on the table. Then all the Japanese will cover the table in business cards. I'm not happy with that one either. Can I just stop you there for a moment? Now, I previously was really happy with an expression like that. Can I just stop you there for a moment? We must have all taught those, yeah? I have. And this one, okay, so what have we said so far? That sounds good for chairing a meeting. I'm not happy with the one above that. I honestly don't know how that got into a book, but it did. I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but... What on earth? What is the function of that? You're going to show off about something and you don't want to... What? And what is the formulaic response? Well, whose trumpet would you like to blow? Perhaps. I'm lost. Now, because we're coming, we're into not quite in the home straight yet, but we're coming around that bend, the 200-metre mark, where you think, oh, right, finally, thank God. And so I would like to just hit you with a little bit of data here, because I'm working for Cambridge, as you know, at the moment, and I poo-pooed a bit the hedging and stuff earlier, but the Canbeck corpus is very, very interesting, and so is the voice one. If you haven't looked it up, you can find it for free on the internet. It's 90% non-native speakers. So very interesting to look at. It's only a small corpus, but it's very interesting. This is what I discovered. I think we'll just skip that. Canbeck. Clusters. They call them clusters. This is from a book by Michael Handford, which you might be able to get actually on the Cambridge stand. Have you got some? It's a great book. Read it. It's fantastic. It's all the research into the meetings section of the Business English spoken corpus. There's hardly any of this available, but it is now. And what they did was they set a benchmark of 10 words per million. That means it's relevant. If an expression occurs 10 times in a million words, it's significant. If it doesn't, it's not. Now you might think, well, only 10 times in a million words. It doesn't sound very significant. That's pretty significant, actually. But if it's less, then it's not. And this is what they discovered. There are hardly any fixed expressions that occur with any significance whatsoever over about 3 or 4 words long. If you look at 6-word phrases, there are only 7. Only 7 expressions of 6 words long or longer occur with any frequency. If you go to 7 words, there's only 1, which is "but at the end of the day." Very British. But at the end of the day. And so it basically suggests that just about all the fixed expressions we have traditionally been teaching are statistically insignificant. I'm sorry, I didn't want to break it to you like that. Now, some people say, yeah, but they're still useful, surely. I don't know, but they're not in use. They're so useful that nobody's using them. It means that a lot of this, language of meetings, language of telephoning, all the kind of phrasey stuff that we do might not be that useful. However, these things are. They have discovered some clusters that are useful. If you're interested in this, we'll put some of this data up somewhere, but I'll have to have it checked first, because I'm not an applied linguist, I think I mentioned. I want to be just sure that these figures are right, but I think they are. These are things which occur a lot. Look how small they are. What the hell are these? They're not collocations, they're not fixed expressions, they're not polywords, they're not any of those Michael Lewisy things at all. Damn it. This is new territory. This really is. This is new. I hope. Is this interesting? That was not really a rhetorical question. We're doing those after coffee in the presentations talk, but it can be rhetorical if you want. Yeah, look, we have to. Yeah, but, of course, as we know, as a way of disagreeing, most common way of disagreeing. The problem is not a problem. Look, lots of negotiation of meaning. I'm not saying, but what I'm saying, what you're saying, what I mean, what you mean, I know what you mean, the other thing, things like that, the sort of thing, one of the things that we want to talk about. It seems that there are some keywords like thing, and mean, and say, and issue, and problem, and point, which is one they haven't spotted yet, but I'd like to suggest to the Canbec people that they do a search on point. I've got a feeling, in meetings, we use a lot of expressions with point, the word point. Can you think of any? Good point. That's just my point. That's beside the point. I agree with you up to a point. Yeah. You see, they're quite common, aren't they? I think that if we looked carefully, we could find the things that people really are using. And I'm not saying we should chuck out what we do, because for a start that would be an awful waste of our investment in materials. And they probably won't learn it anyway, as we've already established. But maybe they could be looking at certain things that look a bit more like this. Now, some people are saying, oh yeah, Mark, but this is what native speakers do. Yeah, but, okay, great, that's what native speakers say very often. But I'm not teaching my students that because it's not so useful. They should learn things like, I'm afraid I'll have to disagree with you there. So I checked with the voice corpus. This is the non-native speakers, right? 1 million words in this corpus. And I've put in, look, to begin, shall we start occurred twice. Let's get started, twice. Let's get down to business, never. Let's kick off, never. Those two were never used in 1 million words of non-native speaker English, quite a bit of it business. Opinions, I think, 3,697 times. In my opinion, 17. Look at the difference. But here's even more interesting. I looked at those 17, and you know what they did? They weren't opinions. They were disagreements. Exactly. They were disagreements. You tend to say, in my opinion, but when you go to disagree. So for a start, that one didn't work. Yeah, but 545 times, non-native speakers. Yes, but 181. I don't agree 13, I disagree 3. Disagree is a bad word, don't use it. And they don't. By the way, they don't use must either very much, they use have to. Because it sounds like it's not an internal obligation, it's an external obligation. So I just wanted to share with you, I'm not going to bore you with all of this, because I'm not an applied linguist, as I told you. But I just think that some of this stuff is worth